MediaTalks, the podcast that helps to better understand the world of media and video advertising.
Hello, MediaTalk listeners, and thank you for tuning in. So thus far, we spoke to both the sell side and the buy side, but we had not heard from an advertiser. So I'm very pleased to be changing this today, and also very excited to talk about a really important topic that we have not yet addressed, which I'm personally very passionate about, and that's about sustainability. And today, more specifically, we'll talk about responsible marketing. Joining me today to talk about responsible marketing, I am thrilled to welcome Olya Diachuk, Data-Driven Media Director at Heineken. Olya, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Manuel, for inviting.
So before we dive in, Olya, just for those who do not know you, please could you just tell us a little more about your role at Heineken?
Absolutely. So I've been at Heineken for about 2 years now. Actually, my background is very heavy agency. So it's very exciting to be on the client side. And to be honest, to be able to actually make some good positive change. So at Heineken, I'm a part of marketing group, and I'm leading all things media, consumer data, and technology. So helping our brands and portfolio to basically drive growth through our ATL.
Okay, great, thank you. And before we start, I also wanted to congratulate you for your recent award. I think you've been nominated
Thank
as
you.
the Advertiser Leader of the Year at the recent Media Leaders in London. So congratulations.
Thank you. Still can't believe it, to be honest. So yeah, very nice.
Exactly. So let's dive in sustainability. This is a word that is being widely used these days, and it's very often just associated with the environment. And I think while the sort of climate or the environment are a big part of it, in its broad sense, sustainability is, I would say, a social goal about the ability of people to coexist. So simply put, sustainability is about the environment and the people. So it's quite of a wide topic. So we have a limited time, but we're going to try and talk about both of those aspects. So we're going to start with the people. Um, Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Why is it so important, and how are you approaching this? And what are you doing on that front at Heineken?
Yeah, I think what would be good to start with is probably saying that at Heineken globally, we have a Brew a Better World, which is our corporate strategy and ambition and the roadmap to create a better world. And it comprises of three elements. So there is that sustainability, environmental impact element to it. There is societal impact, which is all about driving that diversity, equity in amongst us, amongst our people. And of course, it's responsible consumption. Yeah, being an alcohol brand, we actually pay a lot of attention at making sure that we do drive responsible consumption amongst our consumers, because it is a part of making the world better. So all of those three elements are integral for our business, and I think this is where the key is. Like, you need to ensure that those elements truly live in every person in your business, and they're North Star. So we've got a North Star in Brew a Better World. Hence why I think when it comes to both people and environment and consumption, we have very clear plans. So starting with the people side and diversity, equity, and inclusion. So like in both aspects, in sustainability and D&I, it's important to remember that there is the corporate side of it. Yes, so there is a need to make sure we as a business believe in this ambition, and we as a business, as human beings within Heineken, are a part of it. And when it comes to D&I, we have a variety of internal employee task forces, starting from our LGBTQ plus, a HOP group,
Mm-hmm.
Then our group that supports disabilities. We have groups for basically a variety of minorities, etc. So this is the starting point.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't believe in it ourselves, it's really hard, I think, to translate it into your brands and be
Mm-hmm.
authentic. So then the
Yeah.
second part, of course, is our brands and how we are um, basically defining what is the role of our brands in that D&I agenda. And it can be very, very different because not every brand has that purpose.
Mm.
However, we are very lucky that in our portfolio, brands like Heineken, like Strongbow, are truly basically a true representation of the desire to drive diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Mm.
Um, but at the same time, it means that the rest of our brands might not be talking about it from brand point of view, yeah, and they're running specific campaigns. Like
Yeah.
let's say we are doing with Strongbow this year and Heineken supporting Pride in the UK, but we're still working with diverse talent across other brands. We're still
Mm-hmm.
bringing that diversity into our creative, and we are bringing it into our media choices by collaborating with partners who are representing a variety of communities, a variety of interests, because we live in truly diverse society. And if we want
Yeah.
to be relevant, we absolutely have to think about it and think about what our people want to see.
Generally speaking, do you think brands have a role to play here? And what kind of role do you think brands should play?
I mean, absolutely. I think it's an interesting one because brands have the biggest power to
Mm.
inspire, excite people, grab people's attention, and that creativity that lives in brand is what drives our culture as well. We are constantly talking about tapping into culture, but it's also about the fact that sometimes great brands are driving the culture as well, and they can drive the positive change in the culture. So making society and planet better is what we
Mm.
absolutely should be doing through our brands and through our communications, um, and showing by example. Yeah,
Yeah,
showing
absolutely.
what we can do, like with Heineken. I'm very proud of working with the business because we've been obviously working, like Heineken been supporting sports for years, but last year we've we've supported Women's Euros first time, and it was one of the most exciting and proudest moments, I think, for us as a business as well, to be
Mm-hmm.
a part of this cultural moment, to help and to do it in the way that brings fans together, because people think that basically only men watching sports, the majority of the men are watching sports, but actually 62% of people watching women's sports are men. And it's and then it's an amazing shift that is happening right now. Yes, so men are
Yeah.
watching women's football, women are
Yeah.
getting more involved into football themselves, and we launched a campaign was called Passion Knows No Gender, cheers to all fans, because we
Mm.
all are fans, because sports need to be more inclusive. and
Totally.
and there are lots of brands who do similar work, and I think that's the role we play, is bringing it to society and
Mm.
hopefully helping all of us to become a bit better.
And I think, yeah, and I think consumer in some ways are sort of getting are getting more engaged in that sense. And I recently saw some interesting figures that it says that three-quarters of consumer prefer to buy from company that are aligned with their values. And in some ways, I was going, how do you ensure that your content is sort of inclusive and represent diverse perspectives?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think that transparently the whole DNIS agenda is is a journey rather than agenda. It's a
Hmm.
very long and tough one. So we are on that journey when it comes to everything from media choices to production, of course. However, I think it all starts from the positioning. It all
Yeah.
starts from your brand, and that's what we believe in. And as I mentioned, different brands have different role to play, and moreover, we did have examples like last year of absolutely brilliant ideas that actually came out of our partners that we couldn't run because we didn't believe that we have grounds, because we
Mm-hmm.
didn't believe that we are doing enough work yet on the background as a business or as brands to enable us to take this into creative production and to
Right.
talk about it to our consumers. So what that means is you start with a brand, you identify how much, what's your role, and how much you can actually talk about those particular things, whatever they are. It could be I don't know, supporting LGBTQ plus community, like Heineken
Mm-hmm.
historically done for years in Netherlands, and how we aim to do a strong burn Heineken this year. Or it can be sports, yeah,
Yep.
anything. So you need to define what's the role, and then basically accordingly either bring it into production and or bring it just into media choices if you can't really talk about it loudly yet. But then also in the production, then what we do is, and again, I don't think we are by any means doing it brilliantly, because like we've had recent examples across a variety of amazing brands
Mm.
who've been stepping into the territory and being challenged. So what we do is we try to work with diverse talent when it comes to influencers.
Right.
We try to bring more diverse talent now into our creative itself.
Mm-hmm.
We pay attention on who's behind the camera.
Okay.
So we work with our agencies to make sure that they are trying to be more diverse, because we want to bring more diverse thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also try to collaborate with partners who can provide us with guidance. So, for instance, we work with the Purple Goat agency, who is helping us with our plans across brands and helping us to basically show up in the right way and understand those communities and talk their language and do the right thing for them.
And it's all a learning process, I suppose, as well. I think that it takes time to make all those changes, but these are amazing changes. I think that's really great, and I think
Yeah.
that's a great example of what can be done on
And to be
diversity.
fair, as you say, it is a learning process, and it's a process, yeah, but so
Yeah.
you have to embed it in the business, and we are very lucky to have quite open-minded, positive people in the business. And for instance, as we are moving into our next year planning process, commercial and brand, we are integrating checklists dedicated to diversity, equity, inclusion, and sustainability to help and guide all of us, brand teams, BTL, ATL, etc., agencies, partners,
Mhm.
making sure that we are defining our role across those areas and we are making an.
I want to switch to the environment. I had a few questions for you on that front, and that's the other side of sustainability. And so, how are you incorporating the sort of the environment or climate into your sort of operations and decision making process?
I think so. The sustainability agenda, I think, compared to DNI is touching more functions, I suppose, in the sense of day-to-day work.
Hmm.
So, for example, sustainability for us, again, is a part of Brew a Better World. I mean, we have an ambition of being basically achieving neutrality in our manufacturing by 2030 and
Okay.
being neutral in the whole value chain by 2040. It's a big target, which means we have variety of two sides, big transformational projects and processes that touch base everybody from supply chain, where sustainability, I think, historically started, slightly different to DNI, yeah, where DNI starts with your own people and with us as a part of Heineken. Here, like sustainability started for us with, of course, supply chain and production and manufacturing, because that's where the huge impact is, but then started moving towards the rest of the functions. And now, of course, it's a part of our marketing agenda as well. So what we do as a business, we try to look at options to obviously reduce all of the aspects, yeah, of our impact, like CO2, water
Hmm.
usage, electricity heating. We do sustainable farming, and as well, we try to move into more sustainable media production.
Yes.
Um, as again, as a big journey for us, I suppose this is year sort of three,
Hmm.
and in marketing, we've done some big innovations when it comes to production and
Hmm.
specifically packaging. So Heineken was in the UK the first one to launch green grape solution, which I don't know if you've heard of it, but basically
No.
it's a sustainable the packaging that enables you to pick up your cans. Yes, it's made out of paper
Yeah.
instead of plastic,
Okay.
and and to be honest, I mean, it's like it looks it's sustainable because it uses less paper and it doesn't use plastic, and it's a very different look on the shelf. So it's quite a big challenge because we're changing clearly people's
Yeah.
minds,
Hmm.
because before you would go for the gorgeous packaging, lots of paper around, but we go for sustainable packaging,
Yeah.
which is quite important. And then from media side, we've been I think quite also lucky and grateful to work with brilliant partners, starting from our agencies like the Denso, but also our partners like Clear Channel, We Are Rate, etc. And we've been working with all of those to measure our impact. So
Hmm.
with Denso, we've been measuring well, first time probably measuring our impact when it comes to carbon across portfolio from our media, and we are integrating Ad Green Calculator for production amongst our agencies.
Okay.
So rolling it out, and meanwhile testing and learning various solutions. So we've been working with Clear Channel of testing their different sustainable
Mm.
out of home sites, like starting from recycling to LED lights to beehives based to CO2 like a pollution cleaning
Hmm.
solutions. So all of this work, and it's an ongoing experimentation, to be honest, because I do think an industry is still
Yeah.
in the very early
Yes.
stages, and yeah, and we want to make sure that we are using the right solutions,
Hmm.
and well, the solution, and it's hard to find the truth yet. So I suppose that this
Yes.
is why we're trying to compare things as well.
Yeah. And it's very early days, and I think I think everybody's sometimes kind of touching the waters and testing as well, see what works, what doesn't work, and how to approach this in
Yeah.
some ways. And so, how do you ensure that your supplier, or I would say partners, adhere to sustainable practice?
Good question. It nicely leads to probably our broader
Hmm.
conversation about the marketplace. So we've recently had a session with ISPA media leaders about sustainability recently,
Hmm.
and it's incredible how many challenges we are facing, and on the other hand, it's incredible how quickly the market is moving.
Mm.
So the big challenges we see are um, amongst, well, measurement being the first. Yeah. So how can
Yeah.
we create consistency when it comes to measurement? But then also, how can we make sure that sustainability is not premium? So
Hmm.
there is a really good piece from Ipsos and Google, and they found out that even like when it comes to sustainable products, consumers agree that that sustainable products are not priced well enough. They come at the premium, and the same translates, I think, into media as well. Sometimes I think we think that, oh, it has to be a premium price for the fact that I'm going to have a more sustainable impression, but that is not truth. So this is where it leads to me to partners who truly believe in sustainability being part of their purpose
Hmm.
and being a
Yeah.
part of their future and having a clear roadmap. So, likes of Clear Channel to me is a great example of the business who does that and who embeds this into everything they do, from production to actually collaboration with their partners like us, like Heineken, and
Hmm.
same speaks to Denso. Um, but but also, as we mentioned, the premium pricing of it, is a big topic, and this is where I think a lot of partners could work well together, I suppose, to create a solution that will be just an evolution of their products and wouldn't come with premium and will be just a BAU. And I know a lot of the businesses are actually trying to do so, and we are excited to work with them, like with likes of VR8. We also obviously there are new partner, well, not current partners who are coming up with new solutions like Teas. They're working with Impact Plus right now,
Okay.
and we're looking to test this one. So I think to me is have a clear purpose,
Yeah.
make sure this is true to your business in the long term, and
Hmm.
act on it, and make sure that that sustainability is a part of your product evolution rather than a premium price point.
Do you have do you have any sort of or share any success story or sort of recent accomplishment that that you've done around sustainability? Something that springs to mind.
I can talk for hours. I think about our brands. We are again thinking very very privileged at Heineken have so many amazing brands that tap into
Mm.
everything in the D&I and sustainability. And specifically, I think two of our brands that are having a really strong sustainability agenda, but in different ways, are Inches and Old Mood. So it's a great example because Old Mood, both ciders, but Old
Yeah.
Mood is the cider that came to us from New Zealand. So
Yeah.
with a lovely kiwi bird.
Mm-hmm.
But what's at the heart of it is supporting the species, supporting the environment, and we've been doing it by partnering with WWF for a few years now. And this year, I mean, we are donating like £1 million, I think, across 5 years to support WWF. And this year, we are actually bringing that support not just to species and the environments outside of the UK, but also into the UK. And this is a
Okay.
great example of how brand does it in real way, but then how it then translates into what people see. Because last year we first time had like our very pretty packaging with WWF, gorgeous packaging, great consumer competition, and the
Mm.
custom limited edition glassware. And that
Okay.
glassware was one of the most popular merchandising items we've ever had as a
Oh.
business. So it's
Okay.
interesting because people do love the like people do feel close to that story because we feel close to it, yeah, to supporting the environment and supporting the species, and it is great to see consumer engaging with it. And then you have Inches, which is a different angle. It's our local brand. Yeah, it's
Mm.
100% British apple cider,
Okay.
and it's all made sustainably,
Mm.
and it's all and this proposition it translates into communications and media. So that we launched this brand only a few years ago, so and it's been already extremely successful from media standpoint and comms. I mean, we've been the first one to do the CO2 offsetting out of home with Clear Channel. We are launching this year first up for ourselves digital carbon neutral campaign for Inches. We've been turning our out of home sites into like recycling into tote bags. And the proposition is really strong, authentic, and it resonates with people. And most importantly, I think it resonates with the next generations, which
Mm.
I talked about. We should educate and support, well, educate ourselves and people around us now,
Okay. Yeah.
consumers. And what it does is not just drives positive impact for hopefully for the environment and what we do and for our farmers and for our economy, but it also brings younger people into decline cider category,
Yeah.
and it's a business outcome. And it's
Yeah.
exciting to see both Old Moot and Inches growing, well,
Mm.
as well through to their authentic brand proposition.
I think this is a very important word that you mentioned is authenticity. And I think if it's true to your brand, and you put that purpose out, I think it's being embraced as well by consumers who feels the authenticity. I think that's a virtue,
Yeah.
a virtuous circle. I think it's great.
Definitely.
Um, what kind of plans? That's probably going to one of my final questions. Goals you have for the future, or future sustainable initiatives, or that you see moving forward.
I mean, there's a lot of work to do. As I mentioned, the
Yes.
Brew a Better World have a really ambitious targets for us.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've got quite a bit to do and catch up on. Um, but I think we will keep working across all of the three elements. Yeah, so the
Yeah.
diversity, equity, inclusion, sustainability, and responsible consumption. And I know we will keep doing it as a business because it all starts with us as human beings,
Yes.
and it is important for us. So we will keep running our employee task forces. We will keep volunteering as we do in our
Hmm.
business. But also, I think from marketing and media standpoint, what we I, th- I could talk about the media side. We would love to make sure that we keep embedding what we've learned as a business
Hmm.
as usual practices into
Yeah.
our production, planning, execution, and measurement across everything. So,
Yeah.
but sustainability, responsibility, and D&I. So that's for me important. And I mentioned simple things like checklists, and they sound simple, but you have to take people on a journey across your business,
Hmm.
across your agency partners and media owner partners to make sure that they understand why we do it and they are part of the process. So for me, integral is apply these business as usual practices. So those gets translated into our plans next year.
Hmm.
At the same time, stay up to speed with market development and test constantly. So we'll keep doing that. And we have our learning agenda, well, overall for the media and comms, where responsible marketing is key. And then finally, we will hope to have an opportunity to support the industry and in driving and creating those better solutions for all of us, for both sustainable and kind of diverse, equal, and inclusive marketing, and being a part of ISPA, being a part of IB
Hmm.
organizations, and globally WFA, I think helps us to do that. And it's our responsibility as an advertiser, I think, to contribute and hope to create a better world.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing all this. This is fascinating. It is, I can see the journey, and the blue and better world. Um, a final question to you. In fact, I often end my podcast with a sort of more personal questions and ask my guest, he says, to share something that they deeply care about. So,
Yeah.
and yeah,
You know what? I
yeah.
I was thinking about it, and I'm quite passionate about everything we've discussed. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
to me, it's so important. But then, as a human being myself, I think I've been very. So the thing that was always important for me is fairness,
Hmm.
and to me, fairness incorporates a lot of things we've discussed.
Yeah.
It is about equal opportunities for everyone.
Yeah.
It is about treating with respect each other and our planet.
Hmm.
And it is about giving back where possible. And it's about being empathetic, just being good human being. And it's not often easy, but I hope every day I try to do something to become a better person, but it's it's a tough and ongoing challenge thing for all of us to be to be fair, to be better, and just to grow ourselves and help people around us as well.
Absolutely. That's um, that's very well put. I like that. Thank you. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, Olia. Um, and I really appreciate you joining us today. coming to the end of our podcast. So, and thank you for sharing all your thoughts and talk about this very very important topic that really concerns us all. And I think sustainability in its broad sense is really something that we all have as you said, we all have a part to play, and we'll only tackle it if by working on it all together. So thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you for inviting and for hearing
No
our
problem.
stories.
And that's it for now. Thank you to all Media Talks listener, and until next time, it's goodbye.
MediaTalks, the podcast that helps to better understand the world of media and video advertising.